This morning on a special caucus edition of Daily Iowan TV, neck and neck. It was a close caucus on both sides of the aisle. We'll dive right in after this. The eyes of the nation were watching Iowa last night, and for a good reason. There was hardly a dull moment as a record number of Republican voters turned out to caucus, and Democratic hopeful Martin O'Malley dropped out, leaving Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders in a very close race. Clinton squeaked by with less than 1% above Sanders at the end of the night. In fact, both candidates earned nearly the same number of delegates, Clinton with 699 and Sanders with 695. On the Republican side, there was a bit of an upset. The Des Moines Register poll named Donald Trump the most popular candidate only a few days ago, but candidate Ted Cruz came in on top last night's result. He beat Trump by a little over 3%. As stations, sites, and papers are packed with Iowa caucus coverage, the leading candidates offered their own responses to the results. The Republican battle between Cruz and Trump left Trump with a second-place finish. Trump felt, quote, honored. Ted Cruz claimed victory for U.S. Republicans. He said, quote, tonight was a victory for the grassroots. It was a victory for courageous conservatives in Iowa and all around the country. The two remaining Democratic candidates, Sanders and Clinton, projected hopeful futures. Sanders said, quote, a very vigorous campaign. It was a virtual tie. While Clinton commented, it is rare that we have the opportunity we do now to have a real contest of ideas, to really think hard about what the Democratic Party stands for and what we want the future of our country to look like. Yesterday, we brought you the inside scoop from the Republican caucus in Des Moines. This morning, we'll give you a look at what happened on the other side. Kelsey Stanger takes us to the Democratic caucus.
On February 1st at the State Historical Building in Des Moines, Iowa, mind-blowing numbers of caucus goers went to show their support for the three separate precincts in the building. With so many Democrats arriving, the Iowa Democratic Party officials ran out of caucus registration forms. During the votes, Martin O'Malley supporters were forced to decide between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders when O'Malley failed to remain viable, which led to O'Malley's campaign suspension. Even though Sanders and Clinton's numbers were close at this location, supporters for each side are not worried for the candidate to come out on top when it really matters.
The Hillary campaign lost by one person, by one vote. And that was a little disappointing because it's like, come on, I mean, it's Hillary Clinton we're talking about. She can handle herself no matter what.
And I feel like he's a candidate who will think for himself. He doesn't feel to me like he's so packaged, and I feel like that he would not be owned.
On the heels of the New Hampshire primary, the razor-thin margin between Clinton and Sanders still has the opportunity for upset. Reporting from the State Historical Building in Des Moines, Iowa, for Daily Iowan TV, I'm Kelsey Stanger.
Joining me on set is Professor Carrie Covington to give us a look at what candidates will be doing next. Thank you for stopping by. So, Professor Covington, now that the Iowa caucus is all wrapped up, what's next?
Well, it's on to New Hampshire, and some candidates go out with some momentum. Others have dug themselves a little bit of a hole that they need to get out of. The top three Republicans, Trump looks very good in New Hampshire. He needs to put this defeat behind him. Cruz needs to expand his support like every winner in the last 3 or 4 cycles has had to do. And Rubio has got some momentum to get people to listen to him in a way that they haven't up to now.
So speaking of Cruz, what made him jump in the polls? Was it something that came in at the end that he did, or what did Trump not do that made him lose Iowa?
Well, I think Cruz consolidated the support from the social conservatives, the religious right. You can think of support as sort of a pool, and what counts is how many you extract out of the pool. And I think because of the organization and the ground game of the evangelical right, they were able to extract virtually all the support for Cruz that was in the state, and that helped put him over the top.
Great, thank you so much for joining us. And that's all the time we have on this edition of Daily Iowan TV. Don't forget to check back in at 9 tonight for our evening news. We're taking a look at the student response to the political event and more. And make sure to pick up a copy of today's Daily Iowan for Daily Iowan TV. I'm Cole Johnson. Have a great day, Iowa City.